with something we have all experienced before, waiting for a website to load or watching a favorite software suddenly lag. Ever been on a site during a big sale and it starts barely moving? Ever wondered why it happens? It's all about performance and load issues. Think of it like a traffic jam on an information superhighway, or imagine a website as a shop. When too many people are trying to enter at once, it gets crowded. Lines form and suddenly everything slows down. That's what happens in the digital world too. So, what is JMeter and why is it used? JMeter, developed by Apache Software Foundation, is a powerful tool specifically built for testing performance of software applications. It's like a performance microscope that allows us to deeply examine how an application responds under different pressures. JMeter's user-friendly interface helps us to create and execute various tests and mimic real-life scenarios, displaying how an application handles heavy traffic or loads. JMeter is a go-to tool when it comes to testing how well our application handles stress, loads, and different situations. It acts like a real user, showing us how well the app works in different scenarios. With JMeter, we can simulate hundreds or even thousands of people visiting a website or using an app simultaneously. It's like predicting a traffic jam before it even happens, so that we can be prepared for that. First thing is like load testing and why is it necessary? Load testing is the way we put our applications to the ultimate stress test, examining how they perform under anticipated loads and beyond. It helps us to understand the breaking point and performance thresholds of a system. Load testing mimics real life scenarios, showing us how our application behave under various user loads. It helps us find the maximum capacity of a system can handle before performance starts to degrade. By selecting a system to do heavy loads, we ensure it remains stable and responsive under extreme pressures. What are importance of load testing? Load testing is a guardian of our application stability and scalability. It's vital for maintaining user satisfaction, preventing system failures, and ensuring continuous smooth operation. It ensures the applications stay consistent, fast, and reliable regardless of the user traffic, preventing failures, identifies potential breaking points before they become critical issues causing system failures or downtimes. Load testing guarantees that our applications can handle increasing demands of the user base. We'll go to the next, that is what is performance testing and why is that necessary. Performance testing encompasses load testing, and more. It's about accessing various aspects of a application behavior under different conditions, including load, stress, and scalability. It's the full package testing, not just load, but also other performance metrics like responsiveness, stability, and resource usage. It ensures the applications not only handle load, but also deliver an optimal user experience all the time. It helps us identify areas of improvement across the performance spectrum. Prodowns of performance testing and like it being a comprehensive evaluation process, it's a backbone in ensuring our applications perform optimally across the board. It ensures our applications don't just function but provide a great user experience, keeping users happy and engaged. It helps us prepare for the future by identifying scalability issues early, allowing for proactive improvements. Maintains a brand's integrity by delivering consistently high performing applications, which gains trust and loyalty. So moving on to for creating the first load test, let's take a look into the straightforward installation process of JMeter. Before installing JMeter, it's important to note that it requires Java runtime environment, that is JRE, to be installed on your system, and the minimum version it requires is it should like install should be 8, Java version 8. After ensuring JRE installed in your system, navigate to the official Apache JMeter website and locate download section. Choose the appropriate package on the operating system. Extract the contents which you have downloaded, that is a zip file. Open the extracted folder and navigate to the bin folder. Then open the executable file which is named as jmeter.bat.
So as you can see, this is the basic GUI of JMeter. Once you open the jmeter.batch file, let's take a look at the interface now. So there are various components basically, which are known as test plans, thread groups, samplers, and listeners. If you look at the cursor, we have a small timer given over here, which is used to run the test and see how much time it takes to execute the test. I would like to show you a small test plan of a site called as OGX Beauty. So here we have a test plan of a site known as OGX Beauty, and the icon which you are looking over here is known as thread groups. So before diving into deep, I would like to give a small insight about all the components which are used. So basically, test plan is the root element of the JMeter script. It is used to describe a series of steps that JMeter uses to execute while running the tests. A complete test plan can consist of one or more thread groups, logic controllers, and sample controllers, including listeners. Listeners are basically elements which are used to record the results. Let's talk about thread group. Thread group is the beginning part of the test plan. Thread group elements are used to control the number of threads that JMeter will be using during the test. Number of threads can be set uh, at the time of testing those. Number of threads basically are the users, number of users, and after that we have ramp up period. The ramp up period is used to define the time that JMeter will take to start all the users and load them. Next we have our samplers. Samplers are used to allow JMeter to send specific types of requests to a server. If you look at the screen, these are the samplers. We have a HTTP request sampler over here. This is genuinely used to send HTTP requests. And if you are testing a web application, we have a API sampler also. After that, we have logic controllers. Logic controllers are the key elements which are used to execute the test if the user is executing the test on another device, which can be an Android or an iOS device also. It allows the user to set the number of configs they want, the number of threads they want, and then the APIs are basically recorded, and then the test can be done. After that, we have listeners. Listeners are used to gather data, and there are different types of listener. Here, I have some set of listeners which are mostly used while executing a test. The first one is known as view result as a tree. So this listener is used to generate the reports in a tree structure. We have another listener called as view results in a table. So this one is used to generate the results in a table form. And if the user wishes to share the report to a client, they can use the aggregate report format. Now, aggregate report are like the detailed report versions of the test. They consist of different samples, the average time it took, how much time it took to load the site, the percentage of error, throughput, the data which was sent, and the data which is received. So without wasting much more time, I would like to execute the first test. So as you can see, the 7 users are loaded over here because I have given one user each for every thread group. And right now it is executing the test. And you can see like it's giving the real time it is taking to execute the test. The another feature about JMeter is you can see the test results real time. As you can see, while the test is being executed, we can already see the reports of the tests which are successful. It shows you the response code, that latency, the loading time it took, connection time, the data it sent in bytes, and also the sample count. This is the view of a result table, and the aggregate report are the detailed version of this. So as you can see, we have average time over here. We have median time. We have 90% land time. This is used to find out how much of the site was loaded in what time duration. After that, we have 95 minimum time, 99% line. Now, since the site was working well, we had no chances of any error. Apart from this, I would like to also show you another test plan, which is called as Tour Patron. So this test plan is basically an application which is used to from which we have taken APIs. So in order to execute this, there is a simple way. The procedure is the user has to connect their Android or iOS device and the laptop or the device on which JMeter client is running to a common network. The IP address of the common network has to be set and the proxy in the proxy of the Android device along with the port. Now, this is the HTTP test script recorder. This recorder is basically used to record all the API requests which are being accessed on an Android or an iOS device. Once we click on Start button, we see a certificate will be generated and the certificate copy will be shared to the Android device. Once it is done, you can see that the test recorder has started. Once the user completes recording their actions and the API recordings are complete, they can stop it and they can view that the recording tests are saved over here. These are all the API requests which are made on the app. Without wasting much more time, I would like to start the test for this also. As you can see, the test has already started with different types of reports it is generating. So these are the different APIs which are being used right now to give a access and like the performance, the load, the latency, everything will be checked in this. This key can be also used to stop the test in case the test goes for too long or something. So right now I'll be stopping the test because it's a long one. So as you can see, we have a test sample that has failed also.
So the advantages of JMeter, there are many, but I'll discuss a few. The first one being it's an open source application. So JMeter is free for everyone, which means no initial costs. A lot of developers can help make it better, fixing bugs, adding new stuff, and making plugins. People can even change the code to fit their needs or make it better for everyone. JMeter is user friendly. The user friendly JMeter has a clear and easy to use interface for making tests. You can make tests by dragging and dropping things so even people who don't know much about coding can use it. Making and running tests is easier because of how the interface works. There are many extra things plugins can make plugins. JMeter can do more stuff. These plugins cover different areas like reports, other ways to connect, and working with other tools. You can change and add things to make JMeter work better for specific tests. And the one more advantage being the platform independence. JMeter is built in such a way that it works the same on different systems. It works well on Windows, Mac OS, and Linux without needing big changes. This helps in doing tests in the same way on different types of computers. Last but not least, the multiple protocols supported. JMeter can test many kind of apps and services because it understands different way they talk to each other. It can test things like websites, databases, and how different softwares talk to each other. This make it useful for different industries and lots of different situations. Move on to the cons. The first one being it's resource intensive. Running tests in JMeter or on big apps or heavy load needs lot of system resources like CPU, memory, and network. If your hardware isn't strong enough, it might not work well or might be hard to use. Second one being no support for browser rendering. JMeter can't show web pages like a browser does. It won't catch problems with how pages look or work like JavaScript, CSS issues. For fully testing, you might need an extra tool that show how browsers display web pages. Lack of real-time testing. JMeter can't watch performance as it happens. It runs tests based on plan and how instantly show the system is doing. For live info during tests, other tools or setups might be needed, and JMeter lacks that functionality. Limited user simulation. JMeter can make many users at the same time, but it might not exactly act like real users. Making it act like real people in complex apps might need extra setup or coding. Complex test plans. JMeter has a lot of options, but making complicated test plans can be tough. To create detailed scenarios and realistic actions, you might need a good understanding of how JMeter tools work. Keeping this plan up to date can be hard, especially for new teams or those who are learning JMeter, the new learners. Despite these considerations, it's essential to understand the reason why JMeter continues to stand strong in testing arena. While acknowledging these limitations, it's equally crucial to highlight what makes JMeter a preferred choice over other testing tools, especially for load and performance. Let's explore the distinguished factor that position JMeter as an optimal tool over others. So why choose JMeter over other tools? JMeter is a topic is a big which most testers have in. So JMeter is a top choice for testing due to its versatility, ease of use, and powerful performance. Unlike some tools, it's open source, regularly updated, and supported by a large community, and keeping costs low at the same time. It works with many protocols, making it handy for testing various apps. Its user-friendly interface suits both beginners and experts, making testing smoother. It can handle heavy loads, ensuring stable applications. Plus, it offers great features through plugins. It clear its clear reports help spot performance issues, and it seamlessly integrates with CI/CD tools for comprehensive, effective testing. JMeter stands out as a reliable and user-friendly option.